Hey, so welcome to the 14th episode of the Delora Dabbles podcast. It's a little nippy. My hair is I'm having a bad hair day, so we're just going to put a beanie on as well, since it's also kind of nippy. So we are going to talk about resources. Yay, resources. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the PTSD Workbook. First, I want to shout out a book, because this is specifically about journaling, but this book gave me a lot of shit to journal about because it triggered me in so many ways. Like, this book isn't about journaling. It's not. You read through it and it makes you feel the feels and you're like, I have to let this out. How do I let this out? Notebook, start scribbling. That's a great way to read through this book. As you can see, I've had this book for quite a long time and haven't even gotten all the way through it. It can be very triggering. I have highlighted a lot of things in this book. That's why I really like hard copies of things. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I never liked to highlight things because I felt like the fluorescent highlighter colors were so, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. It was too eye-grabby. So when I got this pen for my bullet journaling, it's a coloring brush pen in gray. This is my highlighter now. I use this as a highlighter. It is the best highlighter I've ever had in my life. It's a nice subdued color. And yeah, the coloring brush pens make really great subdued highlighters if you're not into that fluorescent fucking bullshit. I don't know who decided fluorescent was the best color for highlighting. Just too much. It's too much on my eyes. Which is just like a weird quirk that I don't think has anything to do with PTSD. Moving on with the PTSD Workbook. This is the 3rd edition. And let me just say that assholes on Amazon, because I read the reviews, will try to convince you. Because like, I was like, oh, I don't know. Let me just go ahead and get it anyway. You know, like I'm taking care of myself this month. This is my last hurrah month. And I will be doing a Christmas video on kind of how I did I have problems spending, so this is my last hurrah, right? And especially since this is a very emotional month, I'm not even going to try to control my spending. I'm not going to try to, take my extra money and save any money. I mean, I pay all of my bills, but once all of my bills and everything are paid, I'm like, I have $300 to blow on silly shit. Yes, let's blow it on silly shit. I'm not even going to try to rein that in. That is a conscious decision that I made. So I figured, while I'm buying all this stupid shit, let me go ahead and buy some shit that might actually fucking help me, right? So I've been working on this for a couple of weeks now. It's fucking amazing. People on Amazon will try to tell you that it's not as good because it doesn't talk as much about CPTSD as the previous versions do. That's fine with me. Even though I have complex PTSD, it is from childhood and it is over a long period of time. It's not just one or two similar traumas. It is conditioning. That's the difference between complex PTSD and regular PTSD. It's the conditioning. This book still talks about the differences between PTSD and CPTSD. And in the first chapter, it explains why CPTSD has been made redundant by the DSM-5, which I'm not going to get into. But basically, in the DSM-5, they incorporate CPTSD traits under the PTSD diagnosis. So it's all one thing again. Not sure if that's helpful for people with PTSD or CPTSD, but that's not what this video is about. This video is just about the workbooks. I'm not sure if you could find 1st or 2nd editions that have not been written in. So therefore, I certainly wasn't going to try. Therefore, the 3rd edition, I can vouch for the fact that it is still helpful to me. I have CPTSD from childhood trauma and early adult trauma, domestic violence specific CPTSD, and this is still incredibly fucking helpful. So I can vouch for it. This one actually came in the mail today. This is the CPTSD Journal, and it's quite interesting. It goes week by week. It's kind of like a bullet journal without me having to sketch all these things out in my bullet journal, which is for a lot of the reason why my bullet journal has simply become just a financial journal. I really only keep my finances in my bullet journals anymore. And that's a great use of my bullet journal. I'm not going to lie. But I used to do the mental health tracker and the habit trackers and everything. So this is really, really, really fucking cool. So it has a yes or no, and it has a 0 to 5 scale. So it'll say, and this is the chart. It's all charts. Well, it's not all charts, but this whole back and forth page is all charts. So we have re-experiencing dash flashbacks. Yes, no, number. And then it has the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So intrusive thoughts are on a scale of 0 to 5. Difficulty concentrating, 0 to 5. Feeling restless or on edge, 0 to 5. Difficulty sleeping is yes or no. Nightmares, yes or no. Muscle tension, e.g. jaw or neck, muscle tension, yes or no. No, 0 to 5. Overeating or unhealthy eating habits, yes or no. Energy levels, 0 to 5. So, like, different things will have a 0 to 5 scale, and different things will have a yes or no scale. And the distinctions between the two are done extremely well, extremely well. And then over here on this other page, we have exercise in minutes. So it's not yes or no, and it's not 0 to 5. It's in minutes. Feeling calm, feeling happy, feeling productive, work stress, external stress, all of these, 0 to 5. Medication 1, medication 2, medication 3. I, of course, am not going to list my medications because it's birth control and thyroid, and it's not necessary. This would certainly be, if I ever do take the plunge and I get over my hypochondria and I decide, okay, I need medication for this, then I would get a brand new version. I would get a brand new clean version of this and track all of that in a clean version, simply because I think that this would be so amazing for me if I was beginning a new medication and wanted to track everything. Triggers and how long they happened, the duration for which they happened, and all of that. And then it even has a little blank spot here for notes that you can take on it. And it also has this little thing at the bottom that says, how often did you fill out this chart? Because sometimes we don't fill this chart out every day. I certainly experienced that in my bullet journal. So you can check whether this week you filled it out every day, almost every day, or 1 to 3 times per the week if you filled the thing out like every other day. Now, because it's so specific, you would really want to do it every day. Anxiety versus mood tracker. So you have your anxiety level here, and you have your mood level here. And they've got smiley faces. They've got smiley faces. And it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can plot it out like a graph, which I think is so fucking cool and helpful because I'm all about that shit. Love it. And again, you have a section to explain these things to yourself later. Like Monday, I felt this way because blah, blah, blah. So I put such and such as my overall feeling for that day. And you can track why. You can put the why for the decisions that you made. And then it has a symptom tracker. Just in case they left anything out of the previous graphs, it has a catch-all symptom tracker. And then it has a time of day anxiety tracker. Like, oh my gosh, I already know that I do have a kind of set schedule for my anxiety. It tends to ramp up around the time that an abusive parent was coming home from work and wreaking havoc and breaking things and all of that other domestic violence bullshit. So yeah, you have 3 days worth of time of day tracking. So if you want to track this, I hate that it doesn't have 5. I hate that it doesn't have 7 for the week. It only has 3. Morning, afternoon, evening. But if you have a particularly bad, anxious day, use these days and probably try to write down what days they were of that week. And then it has, short answer questions here, like what thoughts, like about your episode. So what situation made me feel this way? Like what was the trigger? What thoughts do I have during this episode? Like what are the negative cognitions that you are bringing back into your present that are coming from your past, right? What is flawed in my thinking? What about my thinking is flawed, right? What is the reality of the situation? What changes can I make to improve this situation next time? Then you have blank journaling pages. You can write whatever the fuck you want in them, right? And then we have a good little affirmation. I'll read this one to you because I don't want to give the whole book away. Rewiring our brain takes hard work and compassion. Another blank page for journaling. And these are lined. I'm not sure if you can see that they're lined. I just want to make clear that they are lined. If you're a doodler, this would be great for doodling. So you also have another lined page for this, and you have the first gratitude exercise. So all of the gratitude exercises are different from week to week. And this one is just, what does gratitude mean? What does it mean? What do you think it means? And it's got the pretty flowers over here. And then, boom, we start back off where we were at the beginning. This is where it all repeats and goes on and on and on. And I will actually stop here and count to see how many weeks one of these journals will cover, because I forgot to do that before I started filming, even though I meant to. So we're going to count up the weeks and see how long this journal can be used consecutively week by week for. So this journal has 11 weeks worth, which really bothers me because 12 would have put it exactly at 3 months. So it's 1 week shy of 3 months. I guess at the end of the 3 months, that last week of the 3 months, you could use to just reflect on the whole journal. Just use that week as a reflection week. But man, that's really, really weird to me that, they could have just put a few extra pages in here and made it 12. Very strange that they chose to do 11. But yeah, all in all, pretty good resource. Now, of course, one of the most simple tools, and that was like $10 on Amazon. I'm going to link all of these things down below. Obviously, the simplest and still one of the best ways to journal is to just have regular old blank journal, right? I do like to use tarot and oracle and all that kind of stuff as jumping off points. Oracles are actually fairly new to me, but, I really do like animal oracles and stuff like that. And if you have like something like the SpiritSong tarot or any of the other animal tarots, like this one or Kim Krans' Wild Unknown, you can use it as an animal oracle, right? You can even use, although the Wild Unknown tarot might not be best because it's not purely an animal oracle. There are some cards that don't feature animals. I love her animal spirit oracles specifically. I just really like animal oracles. Her Archetypes is good if you're into Jungian psychology. If you're not into collective consciousness and Carl Jung or anything like that, then it might not be super helpful. Then you have just like, regular little oracles. Regular oracles that are, pretty decent. I got both of these secondhand. Yeah, they're pretty neat. So it's a thing that you can do and use in your practice and incorporate into your journaling. And, the oracles are really helpful, even if you don't, and let's pull from one of these. Even if you don't like, and the thing is that oracles are not the same as tarot. They are very, very different than tarot. Each oracle has a different system, and a lot of oracles don't have any system at all. So you just find something that is aesthetically pleasing to you and makes sense to you, and you move forward with it. So we're just going to do a short example. And you would do this for an animal oracle, a tarot card, or anything, right? It's just what you will write down about it will be different. What is something I need to be consciously aware of today? Release. So we got the release card. What is she doing? Notice how she has antlers. There are 3 really brightly colored dragonflies right here, right? And I have a certain affinity to dragonflies. It's kind of like a family thing. She has antlers. What does that mean? Is she like a forest nymph? What is that? What about the clothes that she's wearing? What are these flowy, ribbony clothes about, you know? And the trees and the shrubs and all of that, and there's the moon above her, you know. So what is it about release? You know, and notice like she's almost naked and she's outside, and it's kind of weird. She's almost naked outside. Like, how does that make me feel? You know, and like that's just purely looking at the image and using that to draw something from. What is it about being naked outside that makes you feel a release? You're literally releasing the burdens of society, saying that we have to act and dress a certain kind of way. You look and dress and act a certain kind of way, and yet you're going to dance outside naked. You are releasing those restrictions that society has placed on you. What are some things that you need to release in order to be free? So that's kind of more of the like, and it's funny how obvious they usually are, right? They're usually very obvious. So what I like about this deck in particular, and what I always look for in Oracle decks, is that there is a very long message here about each card. So let's say that you look at this card and you read and you journal through just having looked at it, and you get stuck halfway down the page and you want to write a whole page about this card and you want it to be a good journaling experience and you get lost. Well, this is where rereading a guidebook can be handy. This goes for whether you're reading tarot or not. Some people get super snobbish about reading a book while you're doing a tarot spread. If you are journaling for yourself, for mental health, honey, pull that guidebook down. Pull a different book off the shelf, especially if you get a court card and you're not good with court cards. Definitely like pull from as many resources as you can if you get stuck journaling about that card. And like in an effort to not be redundant, I basically just talked about a bunch of different ways to journal, and hopefully these different ways to journal really help you out, and maybe some of the resources are something that would be appropriate for you and that you want to look into. Just because these things have a label of this is helpful for PTSD, this is helpful for CPTSD, you can have post-traumatic stress responses and not have the disorder. I always suggest that none of these tools are a replacement for therapy, but if you need something to help you before you can start therapy, again, I just wanted to put those disclaimers out there. And, until next time, happy journaling, happy dabbling, and bye-bye.